Just thinking about it. Just focusing on it. Like I was down there eating some I don't even know what I was eating. But I was in there, while I was eating, I was sitting there videoing people. Just trying to get them across the finish line, man. An object at rest stays at rest unless what? That's right. Acted on by an outside force. Follow-up is so much bigger than just follow-up. So what we're going to do is we're going to move in this afternoon to making a decision that we're going to go pro in our follow-up. How many of you see the difference between following up and pestering someone and following up and creating value? See, you got to follow up like a person of interest follows up. All of us have been followed up by people that are amateurs. They may try to guilt you into making a buying decision, right? They may follow up with low-level thoughts. They may email me. I love when people email me 7 times. They've never talked to me. They have no idea who I. Then they get mad at me. It's like, hey, did you not get my email? No, I got it, but I'm not interested in. Right? Because the way you're presenting the idea is all wrong. Remember, one of the number one questions you can ask another person is what? What are you trying to do? What problem do you have that I can solve? Sometimes I tell a person after talking to them, I'm not the right person to help you. Let me introduce you to the right person who can help you. Okay? But I don't know that until I do that. So this afternoon we're going to devote to one thing, the follow-up. Going pro in the follow-up. And the question would become, why would we be so fanatical with the follow-up? Well, I think I've showed you this morning that not only are we following up to close deals, we're following up to help people. And we can't help people sometimes if we don't follow up. I can't tell you how many times I talk to a person, they say, man, I want to sign up for your coaching program. I know I need it, but do you know how many times I've started something and quit? Do you know how many things I've tried in my life and never seen through to its conclusion? What they've really done is they've lost all faith in themselves. And I had a person, it's actually a health coach, that said to me, man, signing up for your program seems risky. And I said, betting on a guy like me is one of the least risky things you could ever do. Because I've been showing up for 28 years, man. I've been helping people for 28 years. You betting on me ain't a risk. What you're really saying is you ain't betting on you. And I even tell people, you're not committing to me. You're committing to you. You're not committing to me. I'm not going to live with you every day. I'm not going to be there. You're making a commitment to see something through. I'm going to show you how to do it. I'm going to give you a structure, but you're not committing to me. So if you're worried about it, what does that say? And so sometimes I ask people, how many times, when do you end this? When do you stop this? When do you stop this negative transition? When do you become a transition person? When do you actually follow through with something? When do we, right? So to really follow up, this is a cycle that you got to have. Why is this so critical? Number one, and most likely at some point in your life, you have had some big revelation about something. Okay? A revelation is a sudden, dramatic moment. Okay? Because of that revelation, you now have a conviction. Conviction is a deep-seated belief in something. Right? I have a conviction. Because of my conviction, I am now willing to go the distance. Okay? When I grew up about 30 minutes from here. That's the house I lived in. Okay? It's me. Had a single mom. She had me when she was 16 years old. My dad was 18. They married for 1 year. I think primarily because my grandfather told them they were going to get married. And then they got divorced. Okay, I grew up really without a dad. My dad never hugged me. He never told me he loved me. He never come to a baseball game. He never got involved in my life. Right? He never involved himself in my life. So it was just me and my mother. Okay? And my mom was tough. She put herself through nursing school. This is the house we lived in. And listen, this house wasn't that big. I could take you in 30 minutes and show it to you. I actually stretched it out on the PowerPoint. The living room, in the bedroom, and the kitchen were all the same room in this house. And that's where I grew up, right? And when I go back to that house today and I look at it, I think about, man, what an incredible life I've been able to live. What an incredible life I've been able to live. And when I look back at what changed for me, why did I not stay living in a house like that? Why have I been able to go do the things we've been fortunate enough to do? And it all comes back really to just a pure persistence and a pray drive to keep following up and keep seeing something through to its conclusion. So when I tell you the purpose of the follow-up can change your life, I really mean it can change your life. Okay? And when I say it, I want to show you that it can change your life. So when I grew up in this house, my mom taught me certain things as a kid. We don't whine, we don't complain, we don't make excuses. We dress up, we show up, we grow up, we deliver. Right? It's going to be a fight, but we're going to find a way to win. Like she instilled in me a toughness, almost like a pit bull on a bone. That when I see something with my eyes or in my mind, I have been conditioned very early in life to just keep pursuing it. Did everybody see that? Yeah. Now, I realize not everybody had that. Not everybody had that toughness. Not everybody had that raising. Like now we're trying to teach our kids. Our kids have a much better life than we had. And I'm trying to make sure my kids stay tough and hungry and they get up and they go get it, right? Because I don't want them to feel like, man, this is easy. It ain't easy. So for you, I had very early in life, my mom used to take me down to the local baseball field and she would drop me off and I would stay there for hours and hours with a coach while my mom was working 2 jobs. And that coach was a woman named Mickey Vincent, which was really odd. She was the only female coaching Little League Baseball and she was tough. And this was a tough woman. And she said to me at 6 years old, son, one of these days, you're going to grow up and be a great coach. 6 years old, she says, son, one of these days. And I asked her, well, how did you see that in me? How did you see that? She said, man, you're always asking questions. You were always the first one there, the last one to leave. You always were hungry and curious. Like she saw something in me, right? That was a big revelation. Everybody see the revelation? Revelation is, oh, okay. You see something in me. So at 15 years old, I was going to leadership academies. I was coaching basketball very early in life. I found my voice. And that's me in elementary school. Look at all that hair I had. Good Lord. And there's that tough mama. When I was 15 years old, she sent me off to a leadership camp. I was scared to death. I went to North Carolina. I went to the Broy Hill Leadership Academy where we spent a full week with other kids. I'd never met them. It was out in a camp in the woods. I was scared, absolutely scared to death, folks. I'd never been on a plane before. I'd never been away from my small town before. And so I went to this leadership camp, and man, it opened my eyes to possibility. I'm like, oh, this is so cool. Like we're studying leadership every day. You know, at this month in June, we're having our success school for kids here, where I'm going to spend 2 days with kids that are in 2nd to 6th grade and then 7th to 11th grade, because when I was 15 years old, man, it changed my life. That school, that leadership school, changed my life. Okay, so Mom taught me very early in life, we get up and we go get it. We get up and we go get it. We don't whine. We don't complain. We go get it. We follow up on our dreams. So this is me at 15 years old coaching my first basketball team. These kids were 9 to 11 years old. Now, this is where I really learned follow-up. At 18 years old, I graduated from my high school, and I went to college at Middle Tennessee State, which was 30 minutes down the road. And I wanted to be a coach. I'd pump gas for a living. I was a terrible gas pumper. I worked in a bank. I got fired at a bank. The manager yelled at me every single day. It was me and 9 women. Yeah, it didn't work out the way I thought it would. And man, I got fired. So they fired me at the bank. And I said, man, I made up my mind, man. I want to be a basketball coach. This is what I want to be. So I go down to get my first job coaching this school. This is Woodbury Grammar School. This is me, 18 years old. And I go in and I tell the principal I'd like to be the head boys basketball coach of this school. And he said no. And he said no for basically 2 straight weeks. Every morning I showed up and waited on the principal to come in. And when he came in, I would say, sir, I'd like to be the head boys basketball coach of this school. And he'd say, no, you're too young. Then the next day was, we can't get insurance. Then the third day was, we need an adult. Then the fourth day is, no, kid, go away. Then I kept showing up. And every morning when the principal came in, I'd be sitting there waiting on him. I'd say, hey, good morning. I'm Coach Burt. I'd like to be the head boys basketball coach. I started coaching. This is called demonstrated capacity, folks. Don't miss this. When you're following up with people, you need to show them a demonstrated capacity. That means you need to be able to say, I have worked with other people just like you. I have been successful with those people. I can be successful with you if you'll just turn me loose. So I kept telling him, man, I didn't just start coaching today. I've actually been coaching for 3 years. I've had success coaching junior pro basketball. I'm ready to coach this team. I'm ready to coach these players. I'm ready to do this. That's a demonstrated capacity. So when I'm following up, I'm saying, look at all these examples, man. I've done this, and I've done this, and I've done this. Okay? I spent 4 years in the prison system of Tennessee rehabilitating maximum security offenders in the prison system. That means I went into the maximum security prisons. I took people that are in there for violent crimes, and I spent time trying to rehabilitate them for 4 years. Okay? Some of the toughest work I've ever done. But it gave me something incredibly valuable. When I talk to people today, sometimes they say, I'm just not sure this coaching will work with our people. What do you think I say then? Man, I spent 4 years in the prison system rehabilitating people. I've coached billion-dollar companies. I've coached startups. I've coached solopreneurs. I've coached almost every industry you can imagine. I've coached pastors. Like, it'll work if you turn me loose with these people. You know, everybody hear that? Yeah. See, that is a demonstrated capacity. I have done this with any group you can imagine. Okay? That's what I'm selling here. So I follow up 7 to 15 touches because it takes 7 to 15 touches 80% of the time to convert a prospect to a client. It takes 7 to 15 touches to convert an interested person to a person that is buying. So guess what? I get this job. They pay me $199.50 for the year. But I didn't want the money. What did I really want? Experience. I didn't want the money, man. I wanted the experience. So I coached the team, and if you can't hardly see it, but up behind those kids' head is a banner, and that banner says Class Single A State Champions. That is the only banner that school has ever won. In my first year, we won a state championship. Okay? Now, here's the deal. Every day at your current role is an interview for your next role. Every day in your current job is an interview for your next job. I did a Facebook Live last night on the way out here to the lodge. I said, look, how do you apply for a job when there's no job available? You're always applying for the job. People are always watching you, critiquing you, evaluating you. So I did a good job. This is a demonstrated capacity. I did a good job with these kids, so guess what? I got a new job. I got a bigger job. So they called me and said, man, will you come down here and be an assistant coach at Riverdale High School, which is the second largest high school in Tennessee. Now I'm 19 years old. Now I'm coaching high school basketball, and I'm really understanding, man, and I'm coaching like I'm coaching in the NBA. And this matters. How you perform every day matters. People are watching, critiquing, evaluating. So I followed up to get the first job. Then I followed up to get the second job. The second job allows me to go on to be the youngest head coach in the state of Tennessee at the age of 22. And then I started getting all this media publicity because I'm this young guy coaching basketball, and then we start to win games. It took me 10 years there to win a championship and build a national championship program. Now, where did this opportunity start? I actually started at 15, then it started at 18, then it went to 19, then I followed up. Then I was able to say, man, when I'm sitting in that interview, man, I've actually been coaching for 6 or 7 years. I can have this job. That's okay? So then I go on, and I keep moving on, and I keep moving on, and eventually, because of my follow-up, that's me speaking at 10X, 10,000 people at Mandalay Bay. And we made $1 million from me speaking on that stage. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you know why I got on that stage? Because in 2012, I built a relationship with Cardone. It took me 6 years from 2012 to 2018 of following up with him to get on that stage. And after I was speaking, a guy came up to me and said, man, I could be on that stage. I could speak on that stage. And you know what I said? But you wasn't. I'm sure you could. And you may even be better than me. But guess what you didn't figure out how to do? Actually get on the stage. Everybody with me? Now, why is this important? Because you know how I got on that stage? To be on the same stage with Ed Milet and Cardone and Dame and John and all the big boys and big girls, which I now do a lot of stuff with because I had the guts to keep following up. I had the guts to just stay in the flow, in the rhythm, and the follow-up. See, we fall out of the flow of people's lives who can help us. We don't have a frequency. We need a flow and a frequency when we're following up. I'm here. I'm staying involved in your life. Okay, I'm adding value to your life. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you think things like this change your mind? Change your life? Yes or no? Yes. Yeah, you don't need more money. You need more people. First time in my life we signed up international customers. We signed up so many people in an hour it shocked and broke our whole system. True story. We didn't know how to onboard that many people. We had never signed on that many people in an hour. We'd never helped that many people. Some of the people we signed on were from other countries that could not speak English. They would call our office and the only thing they could say was Coach Burt. They'd say, Coach Burt. We love Coach Burt. We didn't even know how to communicate with them. Why? Because of that stage. So one person can change your life. You're just one person away from a new season in your life if you follow up with that person. Somebody out there right now can change your life. You just followed up with them. Right? That's why I'm pushing you today to spend a day with me. It may change your life, man. Seeing something new could change your life. If you just, right? If you just got in the game a little bit. So for you, when you're thinking about this, one door opens another door, opens another door, opens another door. See, it all starts. See, now you're seeing the whole thing. Coaching at 15, then at 18, then at 19, then at 22, then starting writing books at 25, then retiring at 31, then spending 10 years to get on a stage like 10X. Now you're seeing the whole cycle. And every bit of it started with follow-up, revelation, conviction, action. See, if you only go 2 touches, I'm going to ask you a simple question. Do you really believe in your product or service or not? No. If you only go 2 touches, you don't. If you are willing to give up that easy in the follow-up, then you do not believe. You have not had a revelation. You are just selling a product. You have got to believe that getting a person in the room with you could change their life. Helping them with their product or service can change your life. You have got to have that much conviction. Here's the truth about follow-up, folks. Less than 9% of people can even remember their salesperson's name. Okay? You were so impactful that I forgot what your name was. Okay? Number 2, look at this one. This is why this is a game. It's a sport. 67% of people use the very first person that contacts them. They don't use the best one. They don't use the most experienced one. They use the first one. Okay? It takes 7 to 15 touches. Look at this last one. Every satisfied person should be worth 5.7 referrals over the lifetime of the consumer. Now, here's a very important point. There is a difference between a transaction and transformation. Here's what I like to say. McDonald's has customers. They don't know your name, right? I don't eat at McDonald's a lot, but back when I used to, I'd pull up and they'd say, what do you want? And I'd say, hey, just put whatever you want to in there. And they'd say, what do you mean? And I'd say, well, the likelihood of you getting it right is slim to none. So if you want me to have chicken nuggets, just throw chicken nuggets in there. Right? That'd freak them out. Now, here's my point. McDonald's has customers. They don't know you. They're trying to, there's a service, there's a transaction, there's an exchange, that's it. You have clients. If you look up the word, client means to be under the guard or protection of another person. It is your responsibility to do a great job with the people that are under your guard and under your protection. And if you do a great job, guess what they're going to do? They're going to send you more people. Okay? But they won't send you more people if you don't follow up, if you don't engage. Now, here's the cold hard truth. We're losing lots of money due to the follow-up. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force. So how many of you would tell me you're actually going 7 touches in your follow-up right now? Raise your hand if you're actually, okay? Raise your hand if you're actually going 7 touches. Okay? So we got just a few people. Now, I'm an old basketball coach. What do you think the percentages are telling me? Okay? When I was a basketball coach, I won 74.6% of the time. What do you think as a business person I play? The percentages. What do the percentages tell me? It takes how many touches? 80% of the time. So if you ain't going 7 touches, guess what I'm thinking? You ain't in the game. You're not really in the game if you're not going 7 to 15 touches, right? So it could be your effort. So let's identify this problem here. One problem is I don't go 7 touches. I go a few touches and I give up. Now, this is where some people get confused because I wrote a book called Person of Interest and I wrote a book called $1 Million Follow-Up. And some people read Person of Interest and they said, I thought you said the people of interest don't chase. Why should I follow up 7 times? Now, here's what I would tell you on that. If you get to a certain income level and you are crushing it, you can make up your mind if you want to follow up 1 time or 5 times. You're making $10 million a year, say, look, I'm going to show this to you 1 time. If you don't like it, I'm out. That's your prerogative. But if you're not at that income level, you need to follow up. Now, how you follow up matters. If you follow up like a person of interest does, you have something really valuable. What you're trying to do is explain to them how it can help them, educate them, show them the demonstrated capacity. You're not chasing. You're not manipulating. All you're doing is sharing how I think I can help you here. Now, if you don't want it, it's okay. When are we making up our mind? In the first 15 seconds. Now, so it could be your methodology. So I'm going to show you this, and then I'm going to ask you to take a second and look where you're falling apart. The sales cycle looks like this. We don't start with prospects, we start with suspects. I don't know if you're a good fit for me or not. Until what? Until I initiate a conversation with you. Okay? I talk to people, and here's what I hear some people say. Oh, I've been in 7 coaching programs, and every one of them were terrible. What do you think I'm hearing? Yep. You telling me all 7 were bad? What I'm hearing you say is you cannot be satisfied with anybody. So when I have that conversation and I hear you complain about other people, my little mind is going, you're probably going to complain about me too. So I suspected this could work. Now I've decided it's not a good fit. Okay? So you don't move to the prospect level. Okay? When I tell people what I'm going to teach you, it ain't going to be easy, man. It's going to be hard. You're going to have to get up every day, activate your pray drive, work a selling system, follow up 7 times. And what I'm really trying to do is qualify you to see if this is a good fit. When people tell me they want to work with me, I actually try to discourage them. I say, you don't want to work with me. Oh, yeah, I do. And I said, no, you don't. You don't really want to work with me. Because this is going to be the hardest thing you have ever done in your life working with a guy like me. It's going to be late nights and early mornings. It's going to be weekends and weekdays. This ain't a job to me, folks. This is a mission. And when it's a mission, I don't recognize the things most people recognize. I don't take 30 minutes for lunch. I may take 15. I don't go out to lunch. I have it brought in because time is so critical to me. Everybody with me? So I actually try to discourage people from working with me. I'm like, you don't want to do this. Then they go through and say, yeah, I do. I say, okay, this is what it's going to look like. Let's start with 90 days. And if we can make it through 90 days together, then we'll talk about the next 90 days. Right? Because the truth is, most people can't handle that intensity. And that's okay. That's why when you get to the Navy SEAL level, there's only so many people that actually make it to become Navy SEALs. There's only so many people that get to Special Forces. There are only so many people that get to the NBA. There's only so many people that go all the way. And that's okay. Right? But I'm only looking for a certain cut of person. Okay? That's what I'm looking for. Now, what I'm trying to do is qualify people. I'm trying to qualify people right here. So I suspect that's a hit list. I'm going to call and present an idea to you. I think I can help you. I'm going to have a conversation, explain our services, explain our value. If you're interested and there's mutual exchange here, you move to a prospect. If you indicate interest, there could be 7 to 15 touches before you commit. You are now a client. And the word client means under the guard or protection of another person. Now, for a client, there is a difference between selling a person what they want, what they need. If Ed comes to me and says, look, I'm thirsty and I'm selling water, I could sell Ed this water and say, here you go, Ed, this will solve your problem. But really what you need, Ed, is you need a bunch of these. What you really need is a whole month's worth of these. You don't need just one. That's really what's best for you. Okay? I tell people what I think is best for them. Okay? They say, well, let me buy the cheapest thing you got, Coach. I mean, I can say the cheapest thing I got, but that ain't what you need. What you need is this. Okay? So for you, once you become a client, are we finished? This is where a lot of people stop. No, we're not finished, because the whole goal is to move people to a promoter. That means they're saying positive things. Then if they become a promoter, then they move to an advocate. Guess what advocates do? Send you more people. This is where I get to 5.7 referrals. Now, something has to happen right here. This is where the transformation takes place. Transformation means you come in the door and there is a change. I have gotten you to a better place in your life. Our process, our system, our methodology has gotten you to a better place in your life. Therefore, you are promoting. If you go deeper, you become an advocate. Last night, I was online and I was seeing all these sales come in. Somebody's buying a couples retreat. Somebody's buying tickets to the Monster Nation conference. And then I looked down and it said, guess who it said, Dwight Dye? Liberty Tax. Guess who I knew was out there promoting? Oh, David Perez. Right? My Liberty Tax guy was out there telling people. So I called him. I said, man, are you out there advocating for me? Shame on you. He said, absolutely, man. I was on the phone with somebody just a minute ago. They asked me what I need to do. And I said, you need to go to Coach Burt's couples retreat with him and his wife. You need to go to Monster Nation. So they went right online and was buying it. Right? Why? Because he was advocating for us. Who was a salesperson in that situation? He was. He was out there selling our services to other people. Okay? Now, that matters to me. So when you're thinking about this, our goal is to try to move everybody to this cycle. Not everybody will get there because they won't engage like they should. Not everybody will get this level, but that should be our objective. So I want to take a second right now, and I want you to tell the person beside you, where do you fall off the wagon in your cycle? When you're looking at the total sales cycle from suspect to advocate, where do you think you struggle? Okay, now are you in two businesses? Are you just a pastor? Or I do two businesses. Okay, now, because I wrote a book called The Accountable Church. And what I said when I wrote that book, The Accountable Church, is because I coached my pastor for a summer, and he said, man, will you give me some coaching? And as I've been going to church my whole life, first as Church of Christ, then non-denominational, then Baptist. Okay, what does that equal? Confused. That's what it equals, folks. Just kidding. Okay, now, here's my point. So I've been going to church my whole life. He said, just give us some honest feedback, man, about what we could do better at church. I said, well, let me ask you a question. If I miss church for 6 months, is anybody going to call me? Do you have my information? Do you know what the churn rate is? How many people start, quit, never show up again? Do you know how many new people you have every Sunday? Right? Is there any type of engagement plan to keep me engaged, get me in a small group? Right? Like, these are questions I would ask a business. Right? He said, churn rate. What's that churn rate mean? It means how many people start, come, and then quit and don't ever come back. They churned out. Is that an important thing to know if you're running a church? Yes. What's our engagement plan here? How many touches are you going to call people? How many times are you going to try to get them in the door? Do you believe the power happens inside in the walls in the church? Yes. Okay, good. How hard are you working to get people in the door? Because I've been at churches where I missed for 6 months and nobody called me. Right? I've gone to churches where nobody said a word to me. So let me ask you a question. This is what this book is about. It's about engagement. So when customer service reps come on my team, they read the book, The Accountable Church, because it is about engagement. How do we keep people engaged? You know how hard it is to keep thousands of people engaged, folks? Do you know how many people I've had walk up to me and say, you changed my whole life, then I can't find them the next day, then I can't see them for 6 months, then they're in my life and out of my life. You know how many times that's happened to me? Okay, so here's the deal. I know people start with good intention. I know they fall off the wagon. I know they experience guilt. So what's the plan? What's the plan to keep people engaged so I can get the referrals, so I can move people, right? So where do you fall off the wagon right now in your current business? Take a minute right now. If you're online, type in, I'd love to see it. Where do you fall off the wagon? And if you're in the room, tell the person beside you. All right. Now, let me show you something. All right. When I come into a day, my mind is on offense versus defense. Okay? So this is how I would write out a day. How do I get to 500 grand? Red zone. Then I start looking at focus points. See how I'm mental mapping? This is called mental mapping. So what I do is I start a day and I say, man, these 12 people are in my red zone. If I close these people, it's going to get me closer to 500 grand. Okay? These are my focus points here. And these circles are follow-up. These are people I need to follow up with. These are people that are interested. And throughout the day, man, I'm just adding more people. I'm adding more people. I'm adding more people. I'm adding more people. I'm adding more. There's never a shortage. Then I may write the same thing up twice in my notebook. Red zone. Okay? What's that one say? Actions. Blue Marlins. Level 10. Right? And if you look through there, look at me just mental mapping all day, every day. All of this turns into money. Okay? All of this just trigger my mind. Man, you need to follow up with these people. You need to reach out to these people. You need to call these people. You need to partner with these people. You need to do something with these people. All of these people are at some part of this area right here. They're either suspects that I'm putting on the hit list going, I need to talk to that person. They're prospects that have indicated interest that I'm trying to close. They're clients that I'm trying to engage at a deeper level. There's promoters, right? Okay? So when you're thinking about this, your mind should be thinking offense, man. An object at rest stays at rest unless acted on by an outside force, okay? So can you figure out pretty quickly where you fall off the wagon, yes or no? Yes. Yeah. So there's a whole system, man. So every day, let's simplify it. Every day I come into the day, every day I got a hit list, and every day I got a farm club. Every day I'm calling on new money. Every day I'm trying to close people that have indicated interest. Every day I got a hit list, and every day I got a farm club. Farm club represents what? People who have indicated interest. Now, how's the guy's going to buy 6 tickets to my Flip the Switch boot camp? So I texted him on the break, sent him a video, and he was going to reward his top people. Okay? No one hit their bonus, unfortunately. But I asked the team if it made sense to some of the better performers anyway. I should hear something soon. So he's saying, I was going to reward my top performers by sending them to your boot camp if they hit this price. Here was his comeback. Okay? No one hit the bonus, unfortunately. I asked my team if it made sense. Okay? Now, let's just send him a video back. Okay?
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it.
Hey, Sean, I got a few people I'd like to say hi to you, number one. You guys say hi. Okay, now, you made a comment in your text message that would it make sense to send some of your people here to the lodge? So let me ask you a question. Do you think those people would be better off or worse off if you sent them to the lodge? You think they'd produce more or less if you sent them to the lodge? So think about a small investment in 6 people that could yield hundreds of thousands of new dollars. So you guys think he should send them, yes or no? Yeah. Okay, there's your answer, big guy. So go ahead and take action. I can't help you till you commit. Now, see how we did that? Now, we're going to send it to him? Okay, boom. He's already got it. Now, here's what he said. I asked my team if it made sense to send some of the better performers anyway. Oh, yeah. Let's ask them. Hey, you think you'd be better off with Coach Bird or worse off? Okay? Now, here's the deal. The way he's saying that doesn't make sense. Of course they'd be better off if they came and got coached for 2 days. Right? Because trained people always outperform untrained people. So here's the deal. He wants them to hit some kind of sales bonus before he rewards them. I'd say send them to the boot camp. They'll hit the bonus. Yeah. Does that make sense? Yeah. So my point is, he's in my farm club. He committed to sending these people. Now he's kind of backing out of sending these people. Now he's wanting them to figure it out. We got to help him think straight here, because his thinking is all messed up, right? Okay. So that's a video I sent him. Hey man, let's just break down what you said here. Okay. And for you, you're going to get all these. This is just low-level excuses. Yeah. It's not even objection. Yeah. It's just complaints. It's just, well, they didn't do this, so we shouldn't do this, right? The way you're looking at the problem is the problem, man. let's rethink this here, okay? You spend a few $1,000 on these people, they're going to make a whole lot more money if they're trained than versus they're not trained. Now, your thinking is not right, right? Now, this is an important part to say this. When I was working on my doctorate, I had to submit a dissertation, okay, which was a miserable process of me writing this book, basically, and submitting it in, right? And you can't use your own opinions. You have to support your premise with other people's research. And so I would submit it, and they would kick it back. Nope, we don't buy it. I would submit it. Nope, we don't like it. Kick it back. I would submit it. I submitted it 7 times. Every time I submitted it, they found one problem that they didn't like. And I thought, man, this is miserable. They're never going to accept this, right? They're not accepting my premise. Now, when I started selling, guess what I started thinking about? That. Just because you say something back to me does not mean I have to accept it. See, I'm not accepting his premise here. He's saying this. I'm sitting there going, I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying it. Like you're telling me, right? Like you may tell me the boys over at Colton Mortgage are all crushing it. Well, of course they're all crushing it because the market's, right? The loans are good. But here's the deal. When the market goes up and the rates tighten up, mortgage people will be scrambling to produce money. So they could tell me all day long, yes, I'm crushing it right now, but I'm telling you, when those markets tighten up, and they will, then they're going to be stuck. And when they're stuck, they're going to wish they'd been prospecting. And then it's going to be like, oh no, what do we do now? Now we hire a coach. No. You hire a coach and you get better because there comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. And winter's coming whether you're ready for it or not. So you prospect every day as if you're broke every day. I can't tell you how many mortgage people will be struggling, or even real estate agents will be struggling when markets tighten up, economies change. I've lived through it, folks. You go to bed tired and you wake up hungry. It all goes to zero at midnight. There comes a time when winter asks what you did all spring and summer. You go to bed as if you're broke. I don't care if you're having the biggest year of your life. Okay? Just that's the mindset, okay? So every day we got a hit list and every day we got a farm club. These are the numbers. And look at what these numbers tell me. When you follow up with people, this is called the law of diffusion. And the law of diffusion tells me that when an idea is presented to some people, 2.5% of people will see it the very first time and take action on it. They'll see it one time. Wouldn't it be awesome? Right? Wouldn't it be awesome if everybody saw it one time and goes, yep, go ahead and sign me up for that. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it? Hey, here it is. Good. Let me get my credit card out. Let's get going, okay? Even if it's to their benefit, they still hesitate. Then you've got 13.5% of people that need to see something 1 to 3 times before they take action on it. Then you've got people that need to see something 3 to 7 times before they take action on it. Okay? Then you've got people that need to see something 7 to 15 times before they take action on it. Then you've got a percentage of people that are never going to see it. They're never going to buy. They're never going to be open. So this explains why we have to follow up like we do. These people are going to get on board. They're just sitting back and watching. They're sitting back and they're watching, and they're seeing what kind of results you get with other people. Now, they are the most skeptical too, by the way. They have to see it and see it and see it, see it again, see it again, see it again, see it again. Then they get so much results that they finally take action on it. Then they wish they would have taken action a lot earlier. It's like, man, why did I wait 2 years to do this? It's crazy. Okay? So this is called the law of diffusion. But this explains why we have to follow up 7 to 15 touches. Now, if you're really good and you're in a position of strength and you're crushing it and you're making as much money as you ever want to make, you may say, look, man, I'm going to present an idea to you and you got 1 to 3 times before you get it. If you don't get it, I'm out. I'm moving on. And that's okay if that's the position you're in. Okay? This is the law of diffusion. Now, so let's break this down into categories. Bucket 1, I got to get your attention. How many of you right now struggle to get other people's attention? Okay, raise your hand if you're online, you struggle to get people's attention. Okay, I see you, Pam Williams. Okay, now, here's the deal. When a person doesn't take your phone calls, or they don't acknowledge you, what are they really saying? What they're saying without saying it is, you're really not a person of interest. Let me ask you a question. If a person of interest called you right now, would you answer the phone? If a person of interest that, let's say, if a person of means and resources called you today and wanted to do something, would you answer the phone, yes or no? If a person that you knew was a mover and shaker, was doing big things in the world, called you right now, would you find a way to call them back quickly, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, if a person that created enormous amounts of value for you, when they call you, do you answer the phone, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. See, if Mylette called me right now, I'd answer. Bradley called me right now, I'd answer. If Cardone called me right now, I'd answer. Tim Story called me right now, I'd answer. When a person doesn't answer the phone, what they're really doing is they're putting you in a low status position. And what they're really saying is, man, you don't bring that much to the table. Because you don't bring that much to the table, I'm not taking your phone call. That's all they're saying, okay? Now, don't take it negatively. It's all relative here, okay? It's all relative, because I'm sure there's people call you and you go, delete. Nope. Now, here's my point. So the first step of making a sale is I got to create some kind of value for you. Everybody see that? If I would have just called up Wynn Clayball, right, at Paul Mitchell and said, hey, I'm Coach Burt, man's little firecracker in Tennessee. I'd love to speak to all you Paul Mitchell people. He'd probably said, who? Who are you? Right? Sometimes I go 2 or 3, 4 days without calling my mother. You know, my mom's hardcore. And so I call my mom about 4 days later. You know, after she called me, she'll answer. She'll say, who is this? I'll say, well, it's your son. Mike, who is it? It's your son, Michael, your firstborn son. Remember me? Yeah. She said, you know, I see how you wrote a book called $1 Million Follow-Up. I see how you talk about 7 to 15 touches. She said, I watch your videos, you know, about calling and staying in people's faces, and you can't even call back the woman who brought you into the world. Right? Like, she's like, here's all I hear. I'm like, but I'm so busy being a person of interest, Mama. And she's like, here's what I hear. Right here. Here's what I hear. She's 60 years old. Here's what I hear. Excuses. That's what I hear. Because if you can call your clients back and you can call your prospects back, you can call your mama back. Okay? And she's right. Right or wrong? Now, here's my point. This is what I hear a lot of times when I talk to people. Well, I can't, like this dude. Man, well, you know, got to do this, got to do this. This got to happen. Stars got to align just right. When it rains, my left eye twitches still too much. Right? That makes sense? My right foot hurts on certain days. Like, that's what I hear when I talk to people. I'm like, this is what I hear. Okay, I'm looking for people of action. When you become a person of action, people will take you serious. People will take you serious when they know, hey man, this dude's got a deal. This dude's got some money. This dude's moving and shaking. So the first thing we got to do is we got to get people's attention. Now you say, well, how do we get people's attention? Here's some things you need to remember when you call a person. Number one, you need to learn the concept of immediate asset. An asset adds. A liability subtracts. Everybody see that? Assets add. What could I add to your life today? Darlene, I could add positive energy. I could add an idea. I could add a compliment. I could add a strategy. I could add a connection. Right? I can be an asset to you. I can add a good attitude. I can add a smile. I can add something. Liabilities subtract. These are salespeople that are trying to take something from you. Money, energy, suck the life out of you. Right? You got to change the way you think of selling. Let me give you an example. Okay? Yeah, we'll take a break here just a little bit. Is that okay?
Well, I was going to say, or do you guys want to just keep rolling?
Oh, we keep rolling.
Okay, let's keep rolling.
All right, now, here's the deal. Guy walks up to me at a restaurant here in my home city. He walks right up to me, Coach, man, saw you speak. You came to my real estate company and spoke. We loved it, but now I'm selling insurance, okay? And then he reached in the back pocket and he said, hey, man, if you ever need some insurance, boom, here you go. You call me. That was how he approached me. And I'm thinking, you know what? Good idea, man. Let me call. Give me just a second. I'm going to call my insurance guy that I've been with for years. I'm going to go ahead and tell him that he's out the door. And you're in the door because I just met you. And I don't know anything about you, and you hadn't really asked me what my problems are, and you don't know, right? Now, here's the deal. I'm not saying I don't reward his effort. Here's what I'm saying. Let's go back and ask a question. How could he have done that differently? What could he do to be an asset? Okay, here's what he could say. Coach, saw you speak at my real estate company, but now I'm in the insurance business, okay? We loved you at the insurance company, at the real estate company. I'm wondering if I could help you get into the insurance company, maybe speak to that group. Would you be open to that? Now, what did he lead with there? He led with opportunity. He led with a connection. What do you think I would say then? Hey, man, let me give you my number. See, he led with asset. If you're trying to get a person's attention, we're all guilty of being transactional. I want to call and make a sale. I want to call and put something together. I want to call and do this. So just remember, call with an opportunity. Okay? Add something to their enterprise. Solve a problem for them. Elicit interest and curiosity. Here's what I say. I've been thinking about 2 ways you could do this. I've been thinking about 3 strategies that you could use. I've been thinking about 2 ways I've seen other people do this better. I've got a key connection I want to introduce you to. Everybody see that? See? Lead with introduction, opportunities. First step is I got to get your attention. So the question becomes, how do we follow up like a true person of interest to get people's attention? Number 1, we got to create something interesting, unique, differentiated. Got to pique their curiosity. When we follow up with the person, I'm going to bring you an idea, I'm going to bring you a tactic, I'm going to bring you a strategy. I'm going to bring you something. Okay? Use credibility indicators. Association. Man, I'm working with so-and-so. We're having a lot of success. I'd love to bring this idea to you over here. Okay? Now, this is one of my favorite ones. Create a structure in the future to push people to. A structure is like this. This is a structure, right? This event is a structure. Allows me to invite people to it. So create something in the future to invite people to. Okay? Leverage the power of bringing people together. Allow them to get excited. Okay? And the next step is have multiple ideas. Now, remember earlier when I said I've been following up with a gentleman in Texas. And he didn't like idea 1, he didn't like idea 2, he didn't like idea 3. How do I know he didn't like those ideas?
He didn't respond.
He didn't respond. So I bring idea number 4. What if you've only got one product? See, it's the health coach that only sells weight loss. No. Confidence, community, bigger future, networks of people, right? Get your swag back. There's a whole lot more doors to come in than that one door. So when you're calling people, there's more to the equation that you're working here. So when I'm calling a person, what they're looking at is they're looking at these credibility indicators. Okay? And currency is trust. Okay? Currency is trust. Currency is an open door. Currency is a new opportunity for you that you didn't anticipate before. Okay? So when I'm following up with you, I'm not following up with you to try to convince you to do something. I'm following up with you with an opportunity. I'm following up with you with a big play here. I'm following up with you a chance to get on board. I'm following up with you to be involved in something bigger. And when I call, if my status is high, you take the phone call. If my status is low, you don't take the phone call. Okay? Now, let's do one more, and then I'm going to take a break, Mike. These are 7 touches to potentially get a person's attention. Okay? I like a soft invite to something. Okay? Now, you guys have seen me do concerts here. Okay? I have these concerts here at this lodge, and I do them downstairs, and it's intimate. What's the purpose of me doing those? What's the real purpose? Yeah, it's an easy invite. Hey, have a date night. Come out to the lodge. It's on me, right? We've got a great entertainment. We've got food. Okay? We got libations. Okay? Fancy word for saying drinks. Come on, we got spirits. Come on out here and just have some fun. That's an easy invite. Hey, I'm getting a group of people together on Friday night. Man, we're going to talk about how do you build long-term wealth. We're going to have a cool dinner. We're going to sit by, right? We're going to sit out, crank the fire up. Man, it's going to be a cool night. It's an easy invite. Okay? We've had people come to this lodge that would never, ever in a million years buy my coaching services. We've had a billionaire come twice. You know what he said? It's the most fun he's ever had coming to Nashville. Since he's come to Nashville from Silicon Valley, coming to this lodge and these concerts, the most fun he's had since he's been in Nashville. Here's the deal. What if I just called him up and said, hey, come down and get some coaching. See if we can take your billion and turn it into $2 billion. Right? Here's the deal. He has status. Status. Okay? So to me, I like the concept of, hey, got some cool people getting together. Come on over. Let's hang out. See, that's how I'm going to use my house in Florida. I'm going to go to some of my influencers. I'm going to say, hey, man, just come on down to Florida and spend a couple days with me. I'm not here to sell you anything. We're just going to spend some time. Last week when I was doing coaching, you know how we did coaching last week one-to-one? We went on bike rides. We go look at big, beautiful properties. Vince Vaughn's got a house down there. Luke Bryan's got a house down there. We'd ride on the bike, talk business, and then go look at these cool properties. These guys come back and say, man, it's the coolest one-to-one coaching I ever got. Just because of the way we did it, right? Wasn't sitting here all buttoned up. We're just relaxing. So I use the properties as assets to bring people together, okay? A nonlinear touch is when I go at a person in a nonlinear way. Think of linear, direct. Have you seen enough to make a decision? What's stopping you from moving forward? Nonlinear is I'm going to put my thoughts down on paper about how we can help you grow. And I'm going to give you some examples of other people we've worked with. I'm going to send you a video of exactly how I would do it. Everybody see that? Just send it to them, and it's a soft touch. Think of nonlinears like a little jab. Boom. Jab. Boom. Right? Direct. Haymaker. Okay? Just out of curiosity, who's got Mayweather on Saturday night and who's got Logan Paul? Mayweather, raise your hand if you got Mayweather. Anybody know what I'm talking about? Mayweather's fighting, who is it, Logan Paul this Saturday night? Okay, good. This is big. Okay, I got Mayweather. Just so y'all know. I don't know. It's gonna be good though. Yeah. Hey, I don't know. It's gonna be big. Now, here's the deal. Touch 4. Stay in there. How many right now you had the attention of a person and you lost their attention? How many, right now, as soon as I said that, I bet you got a whole bunch of people in your mind. It goes, you know what? Man, I lost their attention. I lost their attention. Man, I had their attention. I lost their attention. Man, I needed them. Right? Number 4, stay in their face. And what I mean by stay in their face is just light touches. Boom, I'm here. Sometimes, if I'm going after a person, I just send a little, good morning. Good morning. That's it. That's all I say. Good morning. Have a big day today. That's it. Just a little jab. I'm not trying to sell you anything. Just connect with you. Number 5, have something for them to take action on. I believe in the value ladder. Let people come in the door. Let people start at something low ticket. Let them taste the ice cream. Number 6, if they do take action, get intimate with people in the first couple days. I think this is really critical. The reason I like coming to the lodge because it allows me to get close to people. When people come in and spend 2 days with me, it allows me to really move the needle in their life. When people go to our house in Florida, it allows me to move the needle in their life. It's intimate, right? There's a deeper bond. Do you think there's longer retention when you have those? Yes. Of course you do. That matters, folks. And number 7, always push people to something in the future. Never, ever, ever not have something in the future to invite people to. I'm always thinking, what can we create? How can we create an evening? How can we create an experience? How can we create something? How can we keep... Everybody see that? How do we just keep people moving to the next thing? We never let them stop. So that's easy. Always have something in the future to invite people to. Hey, I notice you're involved in this. We'd like you to come to this. Hey, I notice you want to do this. We need to do this, right? This is about a game of momentum, folks. This is a game of momentum. Okay? And what happens is, I was a sports coach, as you know, and I'll tell you, 100% of winning is about momentum. You could lose the whole game and get the momentum in the last minute of the game and win. Right? You could have the momentum for 31 minutes of the game and lose it in the last minute and lose the game. Yeah. Selling is about momentum. I'm keeping you in a forward position, moving constantly, touching, values. Everybody understand the difference between linear and nonlinear? Linear is direct. Number 7, hey, have you seen enough to make a decision? Seems like you want to do this. Are you ready to get started today? Okay. Now, when we come back for the break, we're about to get into when you have their attention, how do you go 7 touches to bring a close? Okay. We're going to get into conversion after the break. Okay. And conversion is what? Take something, convert it, to bring 2 things together. That's conversion. Take nothing, turn it into, I have interest. I want it to convert that interest to what? Action. You can talk all day long, folks. Or you can convert. Trevor, did you have a question?
Yeah, you said nonlinear. I just kind of had an idea if it's aligned with it. Yeah. So I had an idea when you were talking about nonlinear touch. In the case that you are connected with one of their friends or associates or colleagues or clients, hitting them from a different direction, I call it hitting them from both directions, is I'll throw an alley-oop to somebody that I know that can advocate for me. Hey, I got this guy on the line, or I got him, to the doorstep. Send him this video for me.
Yep.
And
I call that tagging people.
Yep.
Now, tagging. So tagging is I work you, somebody else on my team works you, right? Now, Megan gets a lot of people up and going. Megan and Mark on my team gets a lot of people up and going. So I'll say to a lot of people, look, I know you're going to take action. As soon as you take action, Megan and Mark's going to get you up, get you going. They're already ready. I already place them in a forward position. And I may have Megan hit them and go, hey, I'm excited about bringing you on board. Coaches told me about you. We're ready to go, right? Like I'm keeping them moving. So to Trevor's point, we're tagging people in different ways. Okay? And sometimes some of you are not using your best clients. You should be using your best clients to tag people. Hey, let me put you on the phone with my number 1 person. Let me let you hear what they said about working with me. Let me help you get them across the finish line, okay? Tagging people. What's our objective here? Our objective is to bring us to an end, folks.
Mike, can I just jump
Yeah,
in?
sure.
Just jump in to tag you for a second. One thing that might just to chuck some advice too. Like one thing that worked for me is I had a couple of people in the industries that I'm trying to close, so that the person, when they're just like, I don't know if he's worked with this person before, I'll have them call that guy so he can exactly relate to him.
Yeah.
So like, for example, my clients are mainly professionals. So I have a lawyer, a real estate guy, an accountant. Like I have a relationship with them, like call this guy right now.
That's right.
And I obviously give them value, give them extra stuff, but it really helps.
That's an advocate.
Yeah, straight away.
So here's what your advocate should say, okay? And we'll end this session on this. Your advocate should say, quit thinking about doing this and do it. Like you need to do this, okay? Let's quit talking about it, right? The longer you talk about it, the less you can take action on it. So just remember, the purpose of what I'm showing you here is more from a person of interest. This is just trying to get their attention. Now, once you have their attention, now we got to move them toward what? Closure. Now they're interested. Now they're in the farm club. Now they're in the red zone. So what are the closing techniques? And that's what we're going to cover when we take a break. So let's take 7 minutes.
Coach, can you see there's a question online here?
Question online. Let's see. Kimberly, how do you get those advocates? Takes time. Number 1, you get an advocate to an advocate by doing one thing. Get them to a better place in their life. How do you get a person to an advocate level is you get them, you take them from A to B. When I'm coaching a person, I ask them, what's your B? Your B is some outcome you're trying to drive. If I move you toward that B, right, then you become an advocate. Okay? Now let's go down to my guy, let me give you an example. My real estate guy in Florida. Why am I such a big advocate for this real estate agent? Always took my phone call. Always stayed calm when I got emotional. Always brought tactics and strategies on how to negotiate. I feel like he really fought and actually got me a deal in a tough market to get a deal in. Like the reason I'm advocating for him, because the dude was good. Right? He was just that good, man. And when somebody's that good, you want to fight for them. When I go down to Nashville and I see a country music artist that's performing and they're singing their little heart out, man, what do you want to do? You want to reach in your pocket and tip them. Yeah. You want to help them. Yeah. You want to say, let me help you. You're working so hard. You're doing such a good job, man. I want to help you become famous. Yeah. Let's help you move your ball down the field. You want to advocate for them. If they give you half effort, you don't want to fight for them. So the way you build advocates, man, is you give everything you got. You leave it all on the field. Okay? You really pour into other people. That's how you build advocacy. Okay?
And Jackie says, how would you initiate and invite in a remote setting? Clients are in different states.
What you got to do is always have some bait. When I'm creating something, I'm asking a simple question. What problems do people have? And how do I create a solution to those problems? And then I create webinars. Then I create things to invite people to. So I look at a problem. I go, this is a problem. How many people have this problem? A lot of people have this problem. Okay, good. How do I create something that drives people to this thing? That's how I create it. Remember, money changes hands when problems are solved. So I attack problems all day long. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? Everybody see that? Okay? Now, as we go to the break, my team told me to say one thing. I'm not fixated on, if you want to come and spend the day with us here at the lodge, on the follow-up. Some of you said you can't come on that date because it's in July or whatever. And I told my team, look, if we get people to come, I'll move the date. It's not paramount to me that I do it on the 14th of July. We can do it on another date if there's a group of people who want to do it. So there's people online that said they want to come back and work on this. I'm not married to July 14th. 10 people say they want to do it, or 20 people say they want to do it on another date. We'll move it to another date. Doesn't matter to me. I just want to get in the room and help you build out this follow-up. Fair enough? Now, for those of you considering spending the day with me, we're going to give you 6 months to pick that day. Okay, over the next 6 months. And we'll show you days, what my schedule is on those days, where I'm working, who I'm calling, what I'm doing on those days. And then we'll allow you to pick a day that works for your schedule, that works with my schedule. Is that fair? Okay? Okay, pick a day I'm flying on the private jet. Just joking. Now, here's my point though. When you're thinking about that, if you're looking at that, you'll have a chance to choose the day based on your schedule and based on my schedule. And thank you for the people who have already committed to the coaching program today, because I know a number of you have committed online and in person to spending a year with me. Today's just a little bit taste of the ice cream, folks. Just a little bit of taste for you to see how good it can be. So when we come back, we're moving to conversion. Fair enough? 7 minutes, okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.